Today, I'm here to tell you how I got from looking like a skinny fat, unconfident, not being able to fight, not being able to talk to girls, to someone who is able to pretty much talk to any girl. Somebody who's built a relatively good body. Now, I'm not saying I have the perfect body, of course, but I look pretty good. Having a six pack is good. Not being skinny fat, skinny, not being able to fight, not being able to be confident in lots of situations, not being able to talk to people. Now, it all started when I had the idea to actually start boxing, start as something. Because I was looking at all the Andrew Tate videos, all of the motivational videos, you could say. Was it David Goggins or Andrew Tate, Tristan, Hamza? I was actually looking at a lot of his videos. But the main reason was because I felt like I would go out and I genuinely felt like if somebody were about to attack me for whatever reason it was, I could not defend myself. That reason, that little thing lingered in my mind every single time I was out. Just having the thought that I cannot defend myself or anybody that I love or anybody around me since I can't fight. Now, at the time, I was going out quite a lot. I was clubbing quite a bit, not gonna lie. I was drinking, maybe not on a daily basis, but wherever I would go to the club, I would probably have a drink or two. And at one point, I started going to the parties, and the only thing I could actually think about was how I'm where I'm at, and I can't buy whatever I want. I can't beat up anybody. One time, a friend of mine got kicked in the club. Somebody kicked him. And I was just sitting there debating if I should actually go and do something. Now, if a friend of mine got kicked by whoever it was in the club or wherever I may be, I would definitely not just stand around and wait for it to happen again. Maybe that is the time where something like a switch flipped. I realized that I cannot be going like this no more. I can't be looking like some skinny, fat, average ass guy. So, the change that happened was very simple. I started going to the gym. And at first I didn't actually start boxing. I was just going to the gym with my friends. Maybe I got some gloves. I started sparring a bit with some of my friends. But even just going to the gym pretty much every day was something that made me feel very good. And at one point, I combined the two. So as I'm going to the gym, I also go to boxing. I would usually finish one training and go straight up for the other. I was going from 6 to 7:30 to boxing, and I would just straight up go to the gym. And I was doing that for a month. And afterwards, my boxing gym closed for a month. So I just continued. I stopped going to the fitness, and I continued just doing boxing. I was going out and training. Going out to train, I mean. That was the only thing I was doing. There's an ice cream truck passing by. I don't know if you can hear it. With all that said, I started boxing. And in fact, I started boxing very seriously because at one point I started hating myself for not being able to do whatever I wanted to do. Not going up to girls and talking to them, not actually being who I want to be. And slowly, I built myself up. I met a lot of people, good, bad, both. But the important thing is that I actually got to where I wanted to be. maybe not where I want to be now, because I want to be much higher, but I actually was able to be happy with how I looked. I was looking in the mirror every day, and I genuinely could not bear to actually see myself that way. I did not like it. I stopped doing the excuses. The only thing I would do is just go to school and wait for training. I didn't even play video games. I stopped playing video games with that. Now I have a PS5, I have a PC, I have everything, and I don't even use it that much. I barely use it. Not even once a week. Now, during the time I was training, I faced a lot of difficulties. I was more into training than going out. So I had lost quite a few friends. And my friends that are still friends right now were very often saying that I am way too into training and that training is gonna go nowhere, that we should hang out. Now, I pretty much chose training every single day. So I was not going out, I was just training. I would do anything just to be able to train. Genuinely, every single thing. I would be skipping everything just to go to training. I would never ever miss training. Let me tell you a couple of the benefits I actually saw with training. And some, or actually even most, are outside of the training incident. They're not even connected to training. But training is the thing that actually made me able to do those things. So first off, the most important thing for me is, it is an incredible conversation starter. Since you see someone who is at the fitness and you don't train, the fuck you gonna ask him, what are you training? What is your training? He can see you don't train. He can feel when you say what you're gonna say that you don't train. He can feel the way you speak. You don't have confidence in your voice. Even if you do have that fake ass confidence, the funny one, deep down, you know you're just a pussy. Training is something every single man should do. Now back to the point. Starting a conversation with someone, and not saying it as a flex, but as something that people who train can connect. Because even if he's going to the fitness, the other guy, or doing tennis or anything, doing a sport, whatever it is, can connect to people in incredible ways. And usually the people who train at a serious level, not just to go for the fitness or just to say that they're going, they understand what's going on around them. So you meet very good people, very high quality people. And to be honest, people that don't train, very rarely I can actually be friends with. Just because they don't have nothing in common with me. Very little people that are actually train, they actually do not train, have the same mindset as me. Now, I'm not saying that I am some god or anything, but what I mean by what I'm saying is that I have the mindset that I want to build something. The mindset that I want to build myself up. On to the second point. Training is probably one of the main reasons I am able to even talk to girls. Now, that is straight up, as straight to the point and honest I can say it. Now, I have talked to girls before, of course, but knowing the fact that I train, I understand that most girls are not going to go out with a guy who trains. Most people my age don't even train. They can't do 10 push-ups. How pathetic is that? thinking that I'm probably the only guy that she's talked to or she's talking to that trains and seriously trains and actually competes and does something with his life, is such a factor in being able to actually get something out. And I don't mean to take advantage of the girl. I mean to be able to actually make something out of the conversation and out of the girl you're meeting. It's such a bonus. Yeah, of course you can talk to girls or get good girls or whatever it is without training. But I can tell you, it feels 10 times better when you actually train and you know you're pretty much irreplaceable. If you think that way, of course. But I mean, if you're some average guy who doesn't have ambitions, who doesn't have a goal, you're pretty replaceable. I can name 50 people. I'm not going to name them, but I can name 50 people who I believe have no goals, no nothing. And it's not to expose or anything, but that's just how it is. Most people have no goals, no point, no purpose. They just live on autopilot. Now, this book that I'm reading is talking just about that, living life on autopilot. Just going down, I don't have the exact translation for the word. Going down a waterfall, let's say. Going down the water, going with the flow of the water. That is probably the best translation I can give right now. After all, English is my third language. The people who go with the flow of the water, they don't control their lives. They don't take control of what they do. They just do it. They just keep on living and keep going. That is no way to actually have a purpose in life. You need to think for yourself. You need to be able to think. You need to be able to do something. Have ambition. Outside of these points, I can say 100 other things that training helped me. But if you're this far into the video and you still have no ambition or no courage, is a strong word. You don't need to have courage. You need to be willing to try. You need to try and try and try. As I said, if you're this far into the video and you have not actually already called the gym to start training there, called a coach or anything, then you're probably not going to be saved. You're just going to end up miserable. Now, I'm not saying everybody that doesn't train is going to end up miserable, but I'm not saying that they will not be miserable. Because me, myself, I would be miserable without training. And I can't even imagine how pathetic I would look if I couldn't even run 1,000 meters, 1 kilometer. I'm not saying I can run a marathon. I will if I have to, but I will. Think about the fact that some people can't even do push-ups or a pull-up. You can't pull yourself up if you're gonna fall from a building. For whatever reason, somebody is above you trying to fuck you over, and you can't just pull yourself up. Imagine how, just listen to how pathetic it sounds that you cannot actually pull yourself up and save yourself. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody. You're the only person who could do this. You're the only person who can save yourself, or who you can fuck yourself. You can only save yourself and fuck yourself. Nobody else will do it for you. People will try to fuck you over, but it's up to you to take that as a lesson every time it happens, because it has happened many times to me. and I've learned a lot. And there's still much more to learn. That's why I'm looking forward to every day. Happy to have talked to you. I hope you actually got something out of this video. And I hope you actually start training if you're not training already. See you in the next one.